What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about streetlifting versus powerlifting. Everyone talks about streetlifting versus powerlifting like it's two different universes. Different exercises, different muscles, different biomechanics, whatever. But none of that matters if you don't understand this. Strength programming always follows the same rules. But the way people apply those rules in streetlifting is absolutely terrible. Let's get straight to the point, because nobody wants to say it. Streetlifters train like absolute idiots. Too much volume, too much fatigue, too much chasing hype sets. Everything is RP10, this squeezed us. I could have done one more rep. No clarity, no structure, no repeatability. Powerlifters at least have some structure. Not perfect, but better. Streetlifting doesn't need a different theory. It needs a different execution. In powerlifting, the lifts interfere with each other for sure, but it's manageable. Squats and deadlifts, there is definitely some overlap, but you can work around it. In streetlifting, things look a little bit different. Muscle ups, pull-ups and dips, they all sit on top of the same system. If you blast 8 to 12 sets of pulling on Monday, you're probably not walking into a fresh dip or muscle up session later in the week. You're carrying residual fatigue every time. Most people don't even track that. They just train what's on the plan and wonder why everything feels heavy. And this is where Instagram ruins athletes. There is this idea floating around that powerlifters tend to grind ugly reps on purpose and it somehow makes them stronger. But let's make one thing clear. Nobody who trains well is grinding their top sets every week. Not in powerlifting, not in streetlifting, not anywhere. You don't build strength from ego lifting. You build strength from consistent submax exposures that you actually can recover from. Short and important break. If you haven't done yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos. And if you need help with your own training, if you want some guidance in the form of one-on-one online coaching, then reach out for my service. I'll open up a few coaching spots soon. And if you want to be the first one notified, then subscribe to the waitlist. The link is down in the description below. And if you have any questions, just reach out. And here is the thing I want to cut straight. Streetlifting doesn't fail because someone's scap is in 12 degrees off in the wrong direction. Streetlifting fails because people are not able to replicate the same rep twice. And what I mean with that is 1 week you're going to hit a 2 times body weight single, the week after you're going to hit an RP10 double, and the week after you're going to hit a 5 times 5 because you've seen a guy on TikTok making great programs on this system. So there is zero consistency, zero load management, and zero pattern retention. You don't need deep biomechanics. You need consistent reps you can evaluate over time. And that requires submaximal training, not maximal chaos. This is why I use average intensity. It forces you to stop thinking about good days and bad days, and it helps you think about what actually matters: weekly load exposure. If the average is too high, you get cooked. If it's controlled, you progress. Streetlifters don't have a volume problem. They have an intensity mismanagement problem. And then there is legs. Everyone jokes about it. Haha, streetlifters don't train legs. But here is the real problem. Your lower body dictates your ability to create full body tension. Full body tension dictates force output, and force output dictates strength. And yet most streetlifters run 4 upper body days and 1 lower body days, and that's basically injury prevention Pilates. Powerlifters don't skip half their sport. Streetlifters do. So what is the actual programming difference between streetlifting and powerlifting? So the actual difference between those two sports isn't the movements, it's the range you're expressing strength in. Powerlifting movements primarily happen in the shortened to mid-range, whereas most streetlifting movements are happening in a very lengthened position, so in the max end range of a joint, and that definitely changes the programming approach a lot. So if we're training a movement in the short to mid-range, that means we have higher force capacity, higher volume tolerance, easier technical repeatability, and easier load progression. In a lengthened position, on the other hand, we have the lowest force output, the lowest volume tolerance, the highest fatigue cost, and the highest need of predictable exposures. And now combine that with the main point. Powerlifters respect load management, but streetlifters disrespect it. So you get a sport, streetlifting, that stresses the weakest part of the strength curve, and athletes who program like they're training the strongest part of the curve. And that's why most people stall. Not because streetlifting is more technical, but because programming doesn't match the actual demand profile. If you program streetlifting like powerlifting, you won't survive. If you program it like CrossFit, you won't progress. If you program it like Instagram, you won't last 6 months. You need less fatigue, less junk volume, more frequency, clearer structure, sub-max strength exposures, and a week you can actually repeat. That's it. That's the difference. That's it for today's video, and remember, like this video, turn on the notifications and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new content. That's it for today. See you in the next one.